Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and it's time for another match of Professional Terran versus Zerg. And what I got for you today is a top-of-the-line match of Professional StarCraft 2. Spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map and playing with the blue Zerg drones, we have none other than Sue. And yes, for those of you curious, that is indeed going to be the Sue who is very well known for getting second place at tournaments. It's almost a little bit sad at this point. Sue has a very hard time closing out grand finals, but he is still easily one of the greatest Zerg players of all time. And I would even go as far as saying that if he would have won every single grand finals that he would have been part of, he probably would have been considered to be the greatest StarCraft 2 player of all time. It's literally that ridiculous. I think he's gotten like 1 or 2 grand final victories, but then he's lost like a dozen. It's almost a little bit sad, but definitely not a weak player whatsoever. Now, I would say that the title, right, and this is something that not everyone agrees upon, but I would say that the title of most dominant StarCraft 2 player of all time is gonna go to his opponent. Spawning here in the top left-hand corner, he is known by the name of Innovation. Now, if you've been watching StarCraft 2 over like, well, literally like the last 8 years or so, you may recognize Innovation. He has been playing for a very long time, he has been dominating for a very long time, and he is still an absolute monster. Some people are right now trying to argue that he is not actually a player or a human, but actually a machine. I wouldn't be all too surprised. This guy's macro is ridiculous. If you pay attention to the production tab throughout this map, you will notice that, for example, he will continuously be producing out of all of his unit producing structures, but he very seldomly queues anything up. So he has near 100% uptime on producing stuff out of his unit producing structures, yet he doesn't really queue up a lot of units, which is ridiculous when you think about it. Well, he does queue them up right now because that's part of his build order, but you'll notice that in the later stages of this game. Sometimes Innovation's army gets demolished on the other side of the map and you're like, well, that must be GG, right? And you look back at his main and there's like another second army waiting right at that point as well. It gets a little bit silly. Anyway, pretty standard build here for both players. Looks like we will be seeing that third drone right now hiding in the corner, knowing very well what timing this Reaper will indeed, or rather what time this Reaper will indeed arrive on the other side of the map. And obviously, as a Zerg right now, you do want to try and get that third base up and early, so hopefully you can start continuously mining and spreading that creep as well. Nice little bit of micro though so far here by Innovation. Not gonna lose the Reaper. Third base does eventually go up when Sue had the sufficient amount of minerals for it as well. And right now, he's going to continuously produce more and more queens. Now, as you may have already noticed, we are on a map that goes by the name of Karizhan Rift. I have not actually ever heard of that map before. This is the very first game that I'm seeing on this map. I had a quick little look around. It actually does look very, very interesting. Anyway, this is a game that was part of the TLMC 10, as you can see right there in the bottom left-hand corner below the clock. It's essentially the Team Liquid Map Contest number 10. And the Team Liquid Map Contest is a tournament that Team Liquid organizes, and it essentially, oftentimes actually has a couple of victors out of that map contest that will be part of the next ladder season in StarCraft 2 as well. So it's actually very important. A lot of the community members do make awesome maps. This is one of them as well. And, well, in order to give a map an actual proper testing phase, you need to make sure that pro gamers actually play on the maps as well, right? Because they will abuse it. If they find something stupid, they will go ahead and abuse it, and then they can go ahead and patch those little nuisances out of the map very easily. Regardless though, so far it does seem like a pretty standard opener here. We see that 1-1-1 style for Innovation. 1 barracks, 1 factory, and 1 starport. He may actually be switching over in just a little bit to go for example, Banshees, but he could also be going for Ravens, which have seen a lot more play as of late in StarCraft 2. Now look at that, right? The continuous scouting here by both of these players. It will now indeed allow Sue to first off lose all of his overlords on this side of the map, but more importantly also to figure out the timing of that third base. And that's really all he needed to know. Immediately upon seeing that third command center, Sue started up the lair as well as more and more drones. There's actually quite a lot of queens out already. Yeah, 5 at this point. Gotta be careful though, because the queens were actually out of position. The Hellions are gonna try and move up the ramp, and it does look like Innovation will commit to this run by 2 drones already going down in just a matter of seconds. They're now gonna try and squirm them away behind that mineral line. 6 workers already have gone down. Make that 7 in total. All things considered, definitely manageable, because when you think about it, that was indeed 6 Hellions and then a single Reaper sacrificed as well. So Su, of course, now knows that he can go into full drone production. Not ideal, but I think 7 drones in exchange for knowing that your opponent isn't going to push is not actually that terrible, right? Because when you think about it, is Terran really going to make another push off of 2 bases right now when you've already seen the 3rd command center and you know that, you know, Terran quite literally sacrificed 80% of his army just a minute ago? The chances of... oh, I love that as well. Oh, that's so cute. The chances of the Terran going for the counterattack are super small. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out real quick, right? So we see Innovation constructing a bunker there. The Zerglings check up on the ramp. Right? They confirm that there is a bunker up, which will then indicate to the Zerg player to back off, because of course their siege tanks, there's going to be bunkers and all that. Innovation, immediately upon seeing these Zerglings leave, he cancels the bunker once again, because he knows that that bunker has already fulfilled its purpose. It's such a minor little thing, but it's such a cool thing to see at this top of the line of StarCraft 2, because players just simply come up with these really minor advantages, right? That bunker had already served its purpose, so you may as well go ahead and cancel it. In the meantime, though, in the Zerg's base, we do see the 1-1 upgrades coming in here, as well as the Centrifugal Hooks upgrade. There's now also the Grooved Spines here for the Hydralisk, so it does indicate that we are going to be seeing a Hydraling-based timing. And on the Terran side of the map, we do see that continuous production here of Marine-based armies. Innovation, of course, very well known for his macro-based style, but he's also very good at multitasking. Wouldn't be surprised if after... Yeah, look at that. That's so cute. I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually going to do a lot more drop play. He's very well known to continuously do that as well. Immediately a perfect scan there, confirming where all of those tumors are located. And I love the siege tanks right there in the back. Still, there is a lot of Zerg available. Centrifugal Hooks not done just yet, so the roly-poly won't be happening just yet. There's still a lot of Zerg, though, and these siege tanks, while they will indeed provide these Marines an area to back up into, I think they're gonna be in a little bit of trouble. Zerglings immediately going for the runaround. Queen Star trying to target fire down whatever they can, and the last of the siege tanks will go down. Leftover Marines, though, now also picked up and dropped off in the main base, but Zerg definitely has more than enough to deflect his army for now, and Su will continue onwards with his macro. +2/+2 just started up here for Innovation. He's going to try and see if he can potentially just simply play out that macro-focused style. I've actually been really impressed with late-game Terran lately. I've seen a lot of Terrans focusing very, very heavily on the Ravens. Ravens have an insane amount of potential. The anti-armor missile actually deals quite a bit of damage if you get enough Ravens going. But we've also been seeing a lot of Terrans focusing on Ghosts instead, which are great against both Ultras as well as Brute Lords. Now, these medevacs, they are indeed going to continuously go throughout this game. I don't think that Innovation is going to stop anytime soon at the very least. I mean, he could, but I highly doubt it. He's very well known for this, continuously queuing those up, and then also actually microing all of those units like a champ. So right here, right, this doesn't seem like a drop that did anything, but it prevented the Zerg player from moving out. Su, on the other hand, though, definitely one of the greatest defensive Zergs as well. He usually won't be losing all too much here to this kind of drop play, and he's just simply splitting up his army into different little segments. So triple drops happening right now, as well as small armies moving through the center of the map. Finally, Innovation seems to be getting a couple of kills here. Nothing all too insane, but once again, perfect pickup there. He's gonna use this time that the dropships provide for him to clear out a little bit of creep as well, which is really important when you're playing a bio-based Terran army. You cannot go ahead and just allow Zerg to spread creep on their side of the map everywhere. You're gonna try and contain that to the best of your abilities. Once again, though, Hive will now be started here for Su, but he also manages to pick up that dropship. At the same time, another medevac was sniped here at the 3rd base location, and Su cleans it up with relative ease. We are really setting ourselves up right now for a long, drawn-out macro game. 2-2, just about to finish up here for both players. We see another command center just finishing up as well. This one will likely be morphed into a planetary fortress for Innovation, because it is going to be the 4th. He is indeed going to continuously now send these dropships across the map. But at this point, right, what exactly is going to be the win condition of the Zerg? So Zerg is right now transitioning towards a Hive. He's got 70-ish, or rather 80-ish workers, 82 right there in total, which is a very solid amount, because it means that he can continuously replace whatever he wants. He's got that Spire just started up as well, so I wouldn't be surprised to, for example, see, once again, actually, a drop in the main base. We'll be able to pick up a couple of worker kills. But I wouldn't be surprised to, for example, see him make some Corruptors and then maybe also a transition towards a greater Spire. Man, innovation is relentless, right? The first 6 or so drops failed, and right now he's really starting to find a bit of a chink in that armor here of the Zerg player. Because he does pick up a couple of units here and there. Now, a big Zerg army is waiting to engage as well. There are now more and more command centers coming in here as well for the Terran player. Already building up to his 5th right now. But both players just simply have so much... They have just simply so much economy. So I think that Zerg is going to try and just simply max out on upgrades and then go for a big push with, for example, Ultralisks and Brute Lords as well. Maybe a couple of Vipers mixed in there too. At the same time, though, I think that Terran is likely going to be making that transition towards that Ghost-based army. We've been seeing a lot of Ghost play recently. I think it's really strong. It's a lot of fun to watch as well because there's a really cool mechanic that you will usually see come into play as well. Now, it does look like that single Hydra and the Queen are indeed enough to get rid of that Medevac, and as soon as that one drops, you see that indeed the drop was cleaned up here as well. Still, innovation is not done. My god, he is really being super relentless here with these pushes. Right? Just simply not sacrificing his units. Just picking up a couple of units here and there, preventing Zerg from making that big move out. More and more of them, though, dropping off on every single side of the map. This, once again, does seem like a base that's not super well defended, but Zerg immediately rallies a couple of units in that direction. Medevac will get sniped there as well, and I really can't help but wonder if Su is not just simply ahead because of all of this, though. I mean, look, he lost a bunch of workers, but when it comes to, yeah, total units lost, Terran has lost a lot more. Terran has lost a lot more resources, and usually in these big map scenarios, usually it comes down to the player that's playing more cost efficient. Actually, there's a couple of Ghost Academies, as well as nukes on the way. Now, there's one nuke right now, but he's already loading up a couple more of these Ghost Academies as well. Oh man, that's a couple of mules there too, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna start adding on a few more of those nukes. These Medevacs still trying to be a bit of a nuisance. There's still one right here in the bottom right, or the bottom left-hand corner, as well as on the right-hand side of the map. Another one will immediately be loaded up and just simply send off into the distance. Liberators now also coming out. But I think, judging by the amount of Ghost Academies, right, that Innovation definitely plans on getting a couple more of them. I don't think he's just going to sit on a single nuke if he builds 3 Ghost Academies, right? Already, though, Ghosts are now coming out as well. We even now see a lot of these building upgrades here for Innovation, which means that that Terran is very nicely maxed out. Not something you want to get earlier on into the match. Here we go, though. Finally getting some solid damage done. And now that Zerg is really occupied trying to pick off as many of these dropships as they can, all of a sudden, right, even though the Zerg creep spread is insane, that base will go down before reinforcements can arrive. And Innovation finally is starting to get a little bit of value here for those drops. Medevacs will end up dying, which is a little bit sloppy there by our Terran player. Liberators, though, at the same time are moving across. Really, though, at this point, right, Innovation can just replace whatever he wants. Still, the bank is heavily in favor of Su. He's got a stupid amount of resources, but here comes a nuke. This one will immediately be spotted though, so, you know, not a whole lot of damage will get dealt over there. There's actually now another Ghost that walked across the map and now made its way towards the bottom left-hand corner. Banelinks will be able to finally connect right there with those Marines coming from that dropship as well. And I think that Innovation's Ghost likely will have to pay for this shenanigans with its life. That's almost a little bit sad. Still though, Innovation's harass is getting oh my, look at this. Su is playing so passive that Innovation is just simply making as many command centers as he likes. I mean, he can make as many as he wants. There's really no particular reason to give this one up right now. Now, another Liberator has indeed managed to make its way across the map. Even a couple of Zerglings now being sacrificed to try and prevent these drones from dying. Once more, though, this is buying time for the Terran player to just simply clean up some of that creep spread. But here's the thing. Very shortly, right, we will see Terran players, at this point in the game, sacrifice a lot of their workers. Look at these. Orbital commands are gonna come up everywhere. That means that Terran can essentially mine for free using just... Oh man, another nuke is coming in. Using just mules. Right, I guess you can get gas with that, but just mules is definitely an option. Now, I don't see an overseer nearby. The drones are not... Oh my god, no! The overseer came in. The ghost ended up dying, but not without 20 drones as well. Medevac now dropping off inside of that main base. We see 2 more medevacs continuously trying to find an angle here to do a little bit of damage. Another ghost is now moving across the map. There are more and more units already lined up to deal a little bit of damage as well. And while indeed some units will be taken care of, another nuke is now going down here in the base above the one in the main. Now the drones will indeed be forced to evacuate on out of there. Another nuke is coming in, but this one will indeed get shut down. The insane amount of damage that the Terran player is going for right now is really getting out of hand. 42 drones. I think the drones probably were sent back there just barely in the nick of time, as Sue thought that he dealt with that ghost, but he didn't. That's 42 additional workers, and apparently the ghosts are not done just yet. I love this. This is something that we have not seen before in StarCraft 2. Such a heavy focus on nukes. Right? When you're maxed out, I guess this one immediately got sniped, but when you're maxed out and you got this many resources available, you're just mining this much as well as a Terran player, you may as well go ahead and see if you can deal a little bit of damage. Once again, a single one of these stealth assassins hanging out here close to the third base of the Zerg player. It's not been found just yet. It's very difficult to spot that, as Sue will indeed be forced to deal with another tactical nuke. He's looking around. This one is just barely out of range of that Spore Crawler. That means that I think this one will end up landing at the same time. Marines heading towards the base in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. They will be able to kill a lot of those drones. And 29... Oh my... Dude! More nukes! Are you kidding me? That is 103 drones that have already gone down, and this one is still not spotted. Well, eventually, the Overseer will be able to pick it off. But I love... Look at this! Oh my god! Innovation! Going for a switch to heavy nukes. He's now transitioning towards more and more of them as well. He's got so much money, he can do whatever he wants. Although this one will be once again cleaned up. Apparently these, you know, highly specialized and well-trained stealth assassins are indeed disposable, which doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense. Really though, Sue's defense initially was impeccable. He really didn't take any kind of damage that was critical at all, but right now, right? It seems like he's heavily playing on the back foot still. You gotta keep in mind, this Terran player here, while he's dealing a lot of damage, oh man, this is a terrible moment for a Zerg. If you see this happening as a Zerg player, you're like, oh no. I know exactly what it is I'm going up against. This is the moment where innovation is like, well, you know what? I don't actually want to spend any more supply. Another nuke comes in, but this one immediately gets shut down. I don't actually want to spend any more supply on SCVs, because I've got mules anyway. If I need money, let's go ahead and donate them. But here's the thing. Sue has been getting himself a stupid amount of money here. He's been mining for a long time. Look at the bank. That is still more than 12 or even more than 13,000 resources there. And Sue can max out on whatever it is that he wants. Now, for some reason, this queen is actually starting to take a bunch of damage here from these well-upgraded Terran SCVs. Single one of these factories will also end up dying because he doesn't really need that anymore anyway. And it looks like we have arrived at a bit of a lull in this game. Still, the amount of ghosts that are coming out. There are already 22 ghosts. And there are, what? So many. So many ghosts. So many command centers as well. This is really kind of crazy when you think about it. Because there's no denying, right? That Terran, look at the amount of, oh my, look at the amount of orbitals. There's no denying that Terran is well turtled up. And it can mine with whatever it wants. Right? When a Terran player starts sacrificing its own SCVs, that's when you know that the game is going to be rough. And while the income most definitely will go heavily in favor right here of the Terran player in red. Look at that mineral income in particular. 5,000 minerals a minute. Brute Lords are now being created here by Sue. Another one of the Liberators made its way across the map, although this one will indeed get cleaned up with ease too. Scans continuously confirming where the Zerg army is located. Another one of the ghosts is now trying to make their way towards the bottom right-hand corner. It's already queuing up with oh man, that can only be a nuke. Yeah, look at that. It can only be a nuke. Now this one actually may be killing itself, which is a little bit sad. Once again though, look at this. He's buying time. while the Zerg player is preoccupied trying to figure out where that red dot is, and I don't think he's found it. Oh my god. If anything, right, even if the ghost ends up dying because Zerg is busy looking everywhere to find where it's located, Innovation is using that time to clear out a whole bunch of the creep on the map. That's a massive deal. Another nuke will now indeed be deployed to just simply try and zone away this slow-moving Zerg army, although, Hydras are pretty good at covering the distance as well. Another nuke now going down there in the bottom right-hand corner. There is an Overseer nearby, but it can just barely not see where that thing is located. It will confirm now just barely in the nick of time where it's located, but do you really want to risk your Brute Lords? I don't think you want to, as indeed the hatchery there ends up going down. In the meantime, in the bottom left-hand corner, Marines are stimming forward. I think these Marines are almost being sacrificed right now to replace them with more ghosts. Oh my, the target firing is insane! Do you see him clicking on all of those banelings there? Right, just standing his ground, not even really microing by moving his units backwards. Instead, just simply, oh man, that's so sick. And more ghosts are coming out. There are now 32 ghosts out on the map. Still, Sue's bank is massive. He can do whatever he wants. Right? He can do whatever he wants. He can make whatever units he needs. These infestors are important though. Ooh, nice! Oh my god, that EMP was critical there. I was just gonna say, EMP can most definitely shut down their energy. And here come the ghosts. They're gonna try and see if they can deal some damage right here to that base. I think this is actually a nuke being used right now just for zoning. Yeah, you don't want to move the Brute Lords in there. Oh, that's so risky. He will be able to just barely get a nice little advantage there, although the snipes are now coming in as well, popping a couple of those brutes with absolute ease too. I love the way that Innovation is not only just using the nukes to deal damage, but also to zone away that army. Are you really gonna try and commit with a Zerg army to try and deal some damage there? I don't think you do. And indeed, Innovation snipes a base and gets on out of there. That's so cool. I love that. More Marines though, of course, moving on other sides of the map as well. Innovation not done, of course, microing one fight only at the same time. Don't be ridiculous. Still, Sue's bank is massive. It's much bigger than his opponent's, right? So he can max out on whatever he needs. He needs one good engagement and then overwhelm his opponent. That's all he needs. If he takes one good fungal growth and he can get rid of a couple of these ghosts, the game can be over very, very rapidly. Still though, these liberators and drops are really starting to do a lot of damage. There are now, how many? I want to see. 149 worker kills in a single match. That's an insane amount. Here come the ghosts once again though. They're probably gonna go for the snipes, although a single fungal growth there will indeed deal a lot of damage. Beautiful second fungal as well, revealing where a lot of those units are located. I kind of feel like Innovation is overstaying his welcome here though. This could actually easily go wrong. These brutes are dealing a magnificent amount of damage. Once again, massive fungal growth going down, and all of a sudden Sue is slamming back here against this Terran army. Innovation has lost about 40 supply, whereas Zerg lost barely anything. Well, a little bit of energy, I suppose. I'm quite surprised that Sue hasn't decided to max out again. I mean, I guess he's just been busy. He's actually plummeted through his mineral bank, interestingly enough, but I guess he was busy microing that as well. Normally, a Zerg at this point has about 60, 70, maybe 80 workers. At this moment, there are only 39 drones. There are only 39 drones. That's not a whole lot. Innovation, though, not done just yet. Will he use more nukes? That's the real question. Is he gonna use more nukes, and what is he gonna max out on? 7 more ghosts actually on that production tab. How many have died? How many 35 ghosts have died. That's insane. 7 more on the production tab. They're already 27 out. So almost 75 ghosts have been made in this single match. Once again though, a nuke being used and cancelled to force those Brute Lords away. And while indeed that Brute Lord is occupied, or that Brute Lord army is occupied on the other side of the map, ghosts are now moving forward to try and see if they can deal a little bit of damage. 3 nukes are being deployed all at once. This one just for zoning, trying to prevent this army from dealing critical amounts of damage. There are more and more of them coming in. However, in the bases over here, they are indeed gonna land, and that means that once more 26 drones end up dying. Liberators generators being used here for zoning purposes as well. And I think that innovation is looking dominant once again, though. Beautiful fungal growths coming in here. Zerk is trying to land those banelings right against his army as well. And even though eventually it seems like Innovation's army will be cleaned up here, the supply counts are now so heavily in favor of the Terran player that I think indeed he will be capable of finishing off this game. What an insane match. That was honestly really well played here by our Terran player in particular. I love the creative use of ghosts. Now I just want to check, right? 54 ghosts ended up dying, 11 more in the production tab. And then how many were there in total still out? So that's 28. That's so many ghosts. I was wondering if maybe there were more than 100 ghosts made in a single game. Apparently that's not quite the case, but there's no denying, right, that the amount of harassment here that Innovation was pulling off is just insane. 177 workers were killed by Innovation in this game. That's ridiculous. Also, if you take into account that there are probably about 30 or so Zerk buildings that were constructed here, right? That's more than 200 workers just simply sacrificed for the greater good. That's an incredible amount, but I really loved the creative usage right there of ghosts by Innovation. I wonder where the meta is gonna go in professional StarCraft 2. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching this video today. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. Other than that, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But I also want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you in the next one.